What's going on, YouTube? JT's Reborn here, and welcome to a new little series I'm doing in preparation for Godzilla King of the Monsters. Just like I did with my Marvel rewatch, I'm going to do a Godzilla rewatch. I've already done 30 Days of Godzilla, and later on this year, I'm going to do the Toho Tuesdays. But, just for fun, I figured I'd get some extra additional content out there. These vlogs are easy to record. Just put like a still image right up there, the poster, and just kind of me just rambling on for so-and-so. I wouldn't consider these full-blown reviews. It's more like me just kind of discussing the movie, pros and cons, so kind of like a review, but I'm just not going to title them that. This is just a Godzilla rewatch, so I'm rewatching the whole series. I haven't done this since 2014, leading up every single day to the release of King of the Monsters, which is going to open up in the 31st of May, but really the 30th is when I'll be going to go see it. So every single day, you're going to get an additional Godzilla video. I'm already just going through or rewatching them, and yeah, let's go ahead and start with the original. So I watched the original Japanese version and Godzilla King of the Monsters, the 1956 cut, featuring Raymond Burr. I've seen this movie so many times at this point that I can pretty much just close my eyes and just get all the visuals intact, and I really don't need to have to rewatch it per se because I'm very familiar with it, the Japanese and the English version. More so the English version with Raymond Burr. I still have more of a soft spot for that one. I generally would watch that one over the Japanese version. I mean, the Japanese version is great and spectacular, don't get me wrong, but I have more of a nostalgic connection. Plus, I think Raymond Burr is a great lead, and yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about this movies. So the original Godzilla 1954, there's really not much else can be said that hasn't been said before. It's a fantastic movie, both versions, in fact. It's very dark. It's surprisingly dark for the time period, considering this is the 1950s, and more sci-fi films were along the lines of, I don't know, the giant claw per se than Godzilla. There's a really dark tone. There's a lot of, complex themes going on in the movie. The musical score is incredible. It's the visuals are really good. The black and white actually helps the miniatures, I think, look better than in color. Because in color, you can really notice things, but in black and white, it kind of hides their effects. And Godzilla's a lot more intimidating and scarier in this film. It's just a very haunting movie. Very eerie, very creepy. Godzilla is great in it. He's just a force of nature just coming in to destroy everything. There's a lot of emotion to it. The musical score by Akira Ifukube is outstanding, and it really has a lot of emotional weight to it, especially in the scene when you have the girls doing their prayer for peace, and you just see Serizawa watching on the TV, and he just sees this unfolding. You just feel it in this guy's heart, like he has to make this decision to use this very dangerous weapon known as the oxygen destroyer. Otherwise, more people are going to die, but he's fearful of what it might cause. But he pretty much has no choice. You see what Godzilla did. He waged war in Japan. It is a very powerful movie. I know Japan, back in the day, they couldn't necessarily make a film talking about the atomic age, per se. So they had to disguise that fact into a monster film, which ironically spawned the whole entire Godzilla franchise, which is why we're here today. I can't imagine my life without Godzilla. I really can't at this point. Like, if that wasn't around, what would I be like today? I wouldn't have met so many people on YouTube, most likely, like Big Jack Films, Nick Jackson, Kaiju Network. I wouldn't have met them. I wouldn't have had my 30 Days of Godzilla marathon, which was a lot of fun to do. I wouldn't have been able to meet other people in the comments section of some of these videos, just talking and conversing Godzilla like crazy. I wouldn't have met so many people, and I'm very curious to know what the world would be like if we never got the Godzilla franchise. And this film is important. It's honestly... it's probably the best foreign film ever made, at least in, well, actually I shouldn't say that, because there are Godzilla films I kind of prefer, but it's one of the most important films ever made. Just the way it kind of branched out into pop culture, started the whole kaiju genre in general. Obviously we had monster movies like King Kong and, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms and The Lost World and such coming out like years before this. I think Beast of 20,000 Fathoms was before this. I can't be too certain. But regardless, we had, 50 sci-fi monster movies coming out. But this is the one that kind of got the Japanese tokusatsu genre going. It was directed by Ishiro Honda and effects work done by Eiji Tsuburaya. It truly is great. And then that's why King of the Monsters, the Raymond Burr version, is actually really, really important, because it introduced Godzilla to Western audiences. I know a lot of people were just like, it's just the dubbing, and it's obvious that he's just kind of just there to just shout exposition and kind of narrate the whole story. But Raymond Burr, he's a solid actor. I tell you what, Raymond Burr is great in this. He's good as Perry Mason, Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window. He's a stellar fucking actor. And he really helps carry and elevate that movie. Like, just hearing him talk about things, you see the emotion in his eyes. I know it's obvious when he's just cut into, like, they'd hide people's by, having their backs turned, but they really worked pretty hard to get those new scenes in there, and then became pretty popular. And thus the Godzilla franchise was born, in essence, like, especially in the Western pop culture. And I can only imagine seeing this movie as opposed to seeing everything else that was out at the time. I mean, it must have been a large, stark contrast to everything else that was going on. I can imagine just going to see something like, just a typical monster movie. Then you go see this one, you're like, wow, there's some real heart, some real emotion in this one. There's a real grittiness to it that I feel like hasn't quite been mimicked, honestly, until Shin Gojira, I feel like. I mean, there's some other Godzilla films that attempt to mimic this grim style, but Shin Gojira comes the closest, because the 2014 one, it doesn't feel quite this grim. It's a little bit more triumphant because Godzilla's the hero in that film, but I feel like there hasn't been one that replicates the grimness of the original until Shin Gojira, or Shin Godzilla, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, nothing quite replicates the grimness of the original film until then. So, yeah, what else can I say about it? Like, Godzilla's great, his design, the dorsal plates. There's not much else I mean, I'm sure I could talk and ramble on for hours, but I don't want to make these videos drag on for so long. Are there issues I have with it? Yeah, even to this day, I feel like, especially in the Japanese version, the pacing really bogs it down at times. And the cast of characters outside of Serizawa, I feel, are kind of lacking. He's the only one I really felt like had all the emotional depth. Emiko is just kind of there for the love triangle thing, and Ogata's there. Then you have Dr. Yamane. But, like, I'm not really, like, compelled by any of these characters except for Serizawa. Serizawa is the one character that really shines bright for me in the original film. And then you have Raymond Burr, obviously, in King of the Monsters. I thought he was a solid choice as Steve Martin. No, not the actor Steve Martin, but the character of Steve Martin. Yeah, so the cast, I mean, they do serviceable jobs, but it's really, none of them are what I would consider very interesting, human beings or characters. Godzilla's interesting, obviously. Just seeing him in here just cause all sorts of destruction. Like I said, the music, the visuals, the miniatures work is done spectacularly. It really is an incredible film, and it's a very important film because it brought Godzilla to the mainstream, and it's the reason we're all here talking about it today. We've gone to G-Fest, had a lot of fun. We may have not gotten other kaiju films like Mothra, Gamera, things with Ghidorah. We wouldn't be getting King of the Monsters right now, which I can't fucking wait to see. I'm almost curious to see what the world would have been like without Godzilla. Just to wonder what other franchise I'd be into as much if it wasn't for this. So, yeah, I'm pretty intrigued by that question, actually. So, but yeah, anyways, I think that's all I have to say for right now. Thank you all so much for watching this video. This is just first movie's great still. I prefer the King of the Monsters version as opposed to the original Japanese version. That's just me, mainly because the pacing in the Japanese version just drags on a bit longer, and I have more of a nostalgic connection, especially with Raymond Burr there. The emotions are still there in King of the Monsters. Like, they still have a lot of those scenes pay off, and you still get that. I wish there was kind of a version where I could just get, like, the Japanese dialogue over the King of the Monsters footage, and then just keep the Raymond Burr thing. But unfortunately, there doesn't exist a version out there that's been released, unless maybe there has been a fan version, perhaps. So, yeah. All right, that's going to wrap it up. Come back tomorrow as we go ahead and rewatch Godzilla's Revenge. Godzilla Raids Again. We'll get to Godzilla's Revenge when I hit 500 subs. I do have a special video that I want to release on that, but I'm still not quite there yet at the time I'm recording this one, but hopefully I will be by the time I upload it, because I'm very close. Less than 20. So, yeah. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Come back tomorrow for the next episode of the Godzilla Rewatch as we talk about Godzilla Raids Again. Thank you so much for watching. Take care now. Bye-bye then. Oh, and later this year, Toho Tuesday. So there will actually be a re-review, a written review on this thing. But this is just a rewatch. This isn't a full-blown review, like written with quality in that. This is just a rewatch. So we just get my quick thoughts across about the movie and a little bit of my history with it, what it means to me. I had it on VHS, watched the DVD a lot. Godzilla's important. Godzilla's important. Yeah. Okay. Take care now. Bye-bye then. See you next time.